Shalom, when it's off, so by giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kadash, double honors to the apostles of great most, and honors you brothers doing the work of the most on truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's royal name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God Jehovah Yahweh. His royal name is Yahweh. Son's true name is Yahushua. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, by meaning in, Ha meaning the, and Shah meaning names, Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Real quick, just wanted to touch, on this because every now and then you get people, that will try and say, the children of Israel, the Lord's not, dealing with them anymore. The Lord is, open up the church to, rather the salvation up to everyone, right? Which is very inconsistent with the scriptures, right? Very inconsistent with prophecy, right? Because the Lord is only dealing with Israel, right? And it's been that way from the beginning, right? This is Malachi 3:6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Okay, so when you hop over to say Hosea, the first chapter, right? You basically see, you see that basically the Lord got annoyed with Israel. Okay, the Lord got annoyed with Israel, and let's read this. Hosea 1:8 says, now when she had weaned Lo Ruhamah, right, she conceived and bare a son. It says, then said the Most High, call his name Lo Ami, La Am Yah, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. So, you may have a Christian that may point to this and be like, you see, right? You see? Okay, but this is where they ain't got the understanding, right? When you read the precepts, right, it was always designed that we would fall off, right? It was always designed that the Lord would, basically because of our, stony hearts, right? The Lord would allow us to basically fall off, okay? But then we would be reconnected, reconciled back to the Lord via, our Lord and Savior Yahushua, right? Okay, because the Lord, he wanted to glorify His Son. Okay, so what does it say in I forgot how that's phrased. 1 second. This is Matthew 17 and 5, right? It says, and in fact it says 3 and 17 as well, right? Let me grab this one. It says so Matthew 3:16, right? And Yahushua, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened unto him, and he saw the Spirit of the Most High descending like a dove, which is a chariot, right, and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice said from heaven, saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Okay, so yeah, Most High was validating that Yahushua was greater than Moses and Elijah, right? So the Most High, when he went in reference to Yahushua, Most High was like, look, man, I'm well pleased. Okay, see if we can get anything more. Yeah, one's pleasure. It's pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. Okay, so that's it. That was all. You look at this story, right? It's it's all about praising Yahushua, right? The fact that obviously the Most High is at the top, and then Yahushua, right? But it's like the fact that we would fall off, and then the fact that the Most High would then have His Son be, a major point in this redemption arc. Okay, because it goes on to say in Hosea 1:10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, then shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land for the great day of the Lord, for great shall be the day of Jezreel, right? One head is King David, right? Jezreel, Yazariah, Allah, right? He is the seed of power, right? I.e. Israel, right? Out of the land, singular, right? The majority of the salvation will happen in America, right? Let's see what this precept here is saying. Going into the fact that the northern and the southern kingdom, right, would basically be joined up together again. Okay, right, so won't get into that just yet, right? But so that's it. So then we jump over to Romans, the 9th chapter, right? For me, Romans 9 and Hosea 1 kind of go, hand in hand, right, in certain aspects, right? So Romans 9:3, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, right? Because when you're reading, these, the certain letters of Paul, right, it is, would you call it? These things, right, are written to the Israelites, right? Um, so I was trying to say, so for instance, when it's saying here, right, in Romans 1:7, right, so all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, right, called to be what? Called to be what? Called to be saints. Grace to you and peace from the Most High, our Father, and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, right? And why was I stopping on called to be saint? Because who was called to be saints, right? It says, God, that was Psalm 50:5, right? It says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, right? And also Psalms 148:14, he exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. Okay, so when Paul was writing his letters, ultimately he was just writing to the Israelites in those lands. Okay, but we carry on, right? So back in Romans 9:3, for I could wish that myself were cursed from Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, right? Which is why I say, when you read Hosea 1, right, when the Lord was basically saying, look, man, I ain't dealing with you no more, right? I will not be your power, right? It was through Yahushua that we would be adopted back, right, to the Lord. Okay, so it says, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and what, and the covenants, right, plural, right, and the giving of the law, who's given the law, right, and the service of the Most High, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Mashiach came, who is over all. So this here is also proving that the Lord, Yahushua, came for the children of Israel. Okay, everything about these scriptures are about the children of Israel. All of these heathens, right? They've got their part to play, but their part is as heathens, right? And that will play things, right? Because even just on that, let me just grab this real quick. This is Revelation 2, and start from 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come, right? And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, right? So that's the heathens part in this story, right? Such that they will be underneath the children of Israel, and we will have them in subjection. Okay. It says, and he shall rule over them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father. Okay, and that's it, right? These heathens, they're for subjugation, right? They're to be, servants unto us, right? They're not to be equal with us, right? Because we were made holy, we were made separate, right? So it says, let's get a few of these oldies, but goldies, right? This is Deuteronomy. I'll start from 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, right? Even as the Lord Yahweh, my power, commanded me, that ye shall do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Okay, it says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great a nation is a wise and understanding people, right? And this is going to be fully fulfilled, right, in the kingdom of Israel, right? Because when you read into it, right, it's Isaiah 2:2, right? And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, right, representing governments, mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and the nations and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up into the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Right? So they're going to be seeing that our way is right, and especially coming from this way, from this world, right? What they're going to be seeing of the children of Israel, the heathens are going to be like, yo, yeah, because once again, who is this referring to? This is referring to heathens, right? Coming up to the children of Israel, right, to learn from us, right? So, and he shall judge among all nations and shall rebuke many people, right? And let's see, so it says, I'm, right, nation, people, right, kindreds, right? So it says, shall rebuke many people, right? And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So basically, there aren't going to be warring anymore. There's going to be no more war in the kingdom of Israel, right? That's all for this life, right? And the fact that we're going to be enforcing rules like that, these nations are going to be like, yo, it's so much better under these Israelites in comparison to, especially this way. I mean, even that is, a beautiful, because that's a complete 360. Because in reference to Esau, it says, this is Psalms 140. I'll start from the top. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. Right, which is what we're hoping for, right, in these last days. Because we know E's coming down, man. Okay, but we just pray that the Lord has has protection upon us and has mercy upon us. Right, it says, which imagine mischief in their heart, continually are they gathered together for war. So imagine going from a world where people are continually gathered together for war into a world spoken of here in Isaiah 2, where there's going to be no more war ever again. Okay, what was it? Is it juxtaposition, right? Opposites, right? So carry on, Deuteronomy 4:7. For what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so nigh unto them, as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Okay, and also jump over to Deuteronomy 7, right, and start from 6, right? It says, for thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power, right? Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, right? And we just read here, right, in the top of the lesson, Malachi 3:6, for I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. So the Lord doesn't change, right? Which is why we're not consumed, which is why it will always be that we are in the position that we're in as the Lord's chosen. Okay, not having no heathens coming and trying to usurp authority over us. No. Okay, so it says, therefore, ye sons of Jacob not consumed. So back in Deuteronomy 7:6, right, it says, Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you are more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. Okay, but because the Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, right, hath Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen and from the hand of the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Now, even on this point, right, what do we see? And because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, right? So, but basically saying that the Lord, right, is no longer dealing with Israel. You're basically saying that the Most High broke this oath, right? Which, once again, the Most High doesn't. The Most High doesn't change, right? Most High basically says, if he's gonna do something, that's what he's gonna do, right? It's grab that as well. It says Isaiah 55:11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Okay, so once again, if the Most High has been like, yo, boom, this is what's going to happen, right, it's going to happen. And that's why, when we see that E is going to be doing all of this madness, we're not worried, because we understand that this is just, he's written to fail. It is written that when he is about to fill his belly, that it's basically all going to, fall down around him. Okay, so for us, we're like, hey, you do your thing. Okay, do your thing, because at the end of the day, it's already written that you've lost. Okay, and it's already written that the Most High is going to raise up a standard, that the Most High is going to protect his elect. Yes, some are going to die for the for the cause, but save that, the what do you call it? The scriptures also then say that the dead in Yahushua shall rise first. So it's kind of like, hey, what does the scripture say is what it says? This is Psalms 116:5, right? 50. Psalms 116:15. Precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints, which which is a precept to John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, right? And that's what Yahushua did for us, right? So that we could be joined back to the Lord, right? Through him. Okay, and you know what, let's grab this, and then let me see, let me do it like this, and I'll finish in Revelation 5, right? It says Hebrews 8:6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, right? So mediator, G3316, mesites, right, from G3319, a go-between, right, an internunciator. That's a big word, right? That's just it says by implication a reconciler, right, intercessor, mediator, one who intervenes between two, either in order to make or restore peace and friendship, or form a compact, or for ratifying a covenant. What's this word ratifying, right? Sign or give formal consent to, making it officially valid. Oof, that's a big boy word. This is a big boy would you call it, a word here, ratifying a covenant, right? Because that's what it is. It's like you hear these, delegates, they'll be speaking, we've written the draft resolution, we just need to ratify it, right? So Yahushua ratified the covenant, okay? Ratified the covenants that the Most High had already made. He was like, look, man, we're gonna have, the covenants, Israel will be, and that's why actually, in fact, let me finish with Revelation 5, as I said, right, because this is exactly what Yahushua did, right? This is a medium of communication, arbitrary, right? So carry on. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if the first covenant had been faultless, they should no place have been sought for the second, for finding fault with them, right? Because the fault wasn't with the covenant itself, the fault was with us, right? And this is the thing, it was always designed this way. It was always designed that we would fall off and then be reconciled. All right, because if you can receive it, Yahushua was there from the beginning. Okay, it's Colossians, right? It's Colossians 1:16. Yeah, Colossians 1 from 15. Right, 14. It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood. So we know it's talking about Yahushua, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Okay, so Yahushua was there in the beginning, right? So Yahushua's role in this story has always been there from the beginning, such that we would be reconciled back with the Lord, because even then the elect was always from the beginning, right, of the children of Israel, right? So we carry on back in Hebrews 8 and 8. So for finding fault with them, right, the Israelites, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. And that's a cut. We can close the book. Right? When I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel. That's it. Okay? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. This is the covenant that I'll make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I'll be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Right? And that's it. Okay? So let's finish off in Revelation 5 and 5, right? I'll start from 5, read into it, right? And one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. It says, and I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of the Most High, of spirits of the Most High sent forth into all the earth. Right, the 4 beasts being the archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. Lamb as it had been slain, Yahushua. And the 7 horns represent complete power, right, and 7 eyes represent omniscience, right. So carrying on, it says, and he came, took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne, right, which is Yahweh. It says, and when he had taken the book, right, the four beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints, right? And it says, and they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, right? Because we were scattered in all of these different nations, right? And has made us unto our power kings and priests, which shall reign in the earth. Okay, and this is it. It's like when you read it, scriptures in context, right? When you go precept upon precept as we were commanded, you recognize that this isn't talking about all of the different heathen nations, right? We just read Hebrews the 8th chapter, where it's very clear who this was promised to. Okay. And in fact, let me just end on this one, right? Ezekiel 36, from 21, right? It says, But I had pity for my unholy name, which the house of Israel profaned among the heathen whither they went. Right? In fact, let me read into it. Right, verse 19 actually to get to the point. Right? It says, And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doings I judged them. Right? So we were identifying that the Israelites were scattered among the heathen. Right? So when we're reading Revelation 5, and it's saying, right, and it's basically saying, out of every kindred and by thy blood, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, right? We understand what that's referring to. Okay, so it says, and I scattered them, back in Ezekiel 36:19, and I scattered them from among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way, according to their doings I judged them. And when they entered unto the heathen whither they went, they profaned my holy name, when they said to them, These are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen whither they went. Right, therefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus saith the Lord power, I do this not for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. Right, once again, because we're scattered in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Lord power, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and I'll bring you into your own land. Right? So as always, Lord, that was edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.